apparently there's been more test screenings, or these are just details from another test screening. I don't know. There are test screenings for Superman. But apparently it reveals a bunch of spoilers as well, like minor story spoilers. So I guess if you don't want any spoilers at all, just don't watch this segment and just fast forward like 10 minutes. But apparently there's some spoilers here. Apparently it's all very positive, by the way, just as an FYI, which, hey, cool. You know, if it is good, good. I don't really want to see Warner Brothers go under, and I do think this movie has the potential to make them go under. So, yeah. But basically, it says there was a supposed test screening, and a lot of that information is now finding its way online, which it definitely does happen. It says this, somewhat unsurprising, the movie is either being hailed as a win or yet another DC disaster, which makes sense. I've covered this before, how test screenings, if it's a good test screening, you'll just have anyone going to the movie. And just like if you went to the movie with your friends, you're not all going to agree on stuff. So you will get people liking it and people not liking it. That's just how it happens. So people saying it's a disaster or positive, that's not a massive surprise. But anyway, so DCU leaks on Reddit, which have actually been pretty accurate in the past, believe it or not. They're pretty good. And Reddit has been a source for quite a lot of leaks, so much so that Marvel and Disney wanted to get Google to subpoena, or they're trying to subpoena Google to give information details about the Reddit users. It was like a whole thing, which is just mental in and unto itself, as a sentence to say. But yeah, Reddit actually does have leaks and spoilers, believe it or not. So there was some new intel shared. It's not verified or anything like that. So take it with a pinch of salt, but all supposedly really positive. So let's take a look. So, full test screening report. The film wasn't a comedy, but did have funny moments in it. What constitutes a comedy then? It just has to be non-stop comedic. Can comedies not have any elements of seriousness? I don't really understand that. That sounds like someone not really understanding that comedies can, still have a story surrounding them. And it's not slapstick. Do you know what I mean? I don't really. But anyway, whatever. Apparently, it's not a comedy. There's funny moments in it though, so it's still funny. Sounds like a comedy. Characters.
That is an odd line. That is a difficult line to walk, though, isn't it? I rewatched Terminator 3 the other day. It's not a comedy, is it? It's about the apocalypse. There's a nuclear exchange at the end, but there's attempts at funny bits in it, right? Do you remember it well enough?
Terminator 3 is meant when she gets her tits bigger.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, what are you actually doing?
Yeah. There's a bit when Arnie first gets his leather clothes and he comes out of and he puts on like some
kids sunglasses or whatever they
are. Elton John star sunglasses.
Okay,
and there's a couple of other moments like that, and it's like, it's fallen a bit flat. I don't know. I was supposed to laugh, and now we're back into serious killings and stuff. Like
weird.
Anyway, it's a difficult line to walk.
Weird era in cinema, that movie. Characters aren't who people think they are. Online speculation is wrong. Most of the trailer scenes are from early in the film, so that's a good thing to know. Because more often than not, most of these trailers just reveal the entire film, so that's good. Crypto plays an important role, but it felt a little tacked in. That part felt artificial. I mean, it's literally artificial. It's a CGI dog. So it's literally artificial. So it's not a surprise that it felt artificial. There's no after credits scene, at least not that they were shown. One could be there, but their source can't confirm. That's sure, whatever. While Rick Flag Sr. is in the film and he plays a rather short role, there were no nods to Creature Commandos. But their source isn't like a DC file, so they could have missed something. There was a nod to Amanda Waller, though it wasn't an audience wink, and it's a blink and you'll miss it. The source's impressions were that the film is good from a person who doesn't follow DC films, not a comic book buff, but they enjoyed it. So that's good. The secondary plot of the film focused primarily on Lois and Clark. Brosnahan stole every scene she was in. She might have had a Brosnahan's out, I guess, then. Their source loves Miss Maisel. I bet they do. I bet they do. So they could be biased. That's I don't think you know this. Basically, Bo, the woman playing Lois Lane has huge tits.
Okay.
And she got them out in Miss Maisel. So just saying, it sounds like this person enjoyed Rachel's Brosnan's. Anyway, Nicholas Hoult was good as Lex Luthor, but he overacts a bit. He does anger very well, but he was a bit much in other scenes. His two goons were delightful and worked well with Lex's energy. The Source felt they helped, but weren't absolutely necessary. Some of the effects don't work super well, though their Source doesn't know if it was an early cut. The scenes at the Ice Palace were a little rough. Some of the effects with the big monster, the kaiju thing, which we've seen in the trailer, were rough, and their Source thought his face looked a little goofy. Their Source said that it had a lot of characters, but didn't feel like they took away from the main plot. So there you go. I mean, that's supposedly super positive, I guess. What do you think? What do you think about this? I'll go to you first, Culture, for this. What do you reckon?
Well, I'm thinking about this, and I'm going to say that I'm still not encouraged. I mean, there's nothing in here that's groundbreaking. Some of the information here was revealed early on in the previous test screening, quote unquote, leaks. But there's a lot of misinformation in this particular thing as well, because we know for a fact who the characters are. I mean, unless the IMDb and other places are changing like who the cast are and who they are cast for. So I'm like, that's largely bullshit.
Sorry, what's the misinformation? I'm a bit confused there.
It says that the characters aren't who you think they are. It was one of the first things towards the top of these leaks, but regardless.
Oh, yeah, characters aren't who people think they are.
Yeah, and we know that's baloney sausage. Look, I feel like this is just like a counter information campaign when it comes to a lot of the things that are trying to point out just how inconsistent they might be. Everything I've heard about this film is that while not terrible, it's not going to reinvigorate DC. It also largely suffers from a lack of focus on the primary character. There's a lot here to develop, and there's not enough room to do so. But I mean, you're going to get people in this that you may not have an interest in seeing, and wouldn't naturally fall within a Superman story. So my thoughts on this are, I feel like this is 20% hype to try to get people excited about things and not be so down on the idea that this film may not launch DC's future at all. And I think the balance of it is just a misinformation campaign to try to steer people away from some of the accurate reporting that's been done on this before. Look, I usually have a reason for not getting super excited for films. I have a reason. I don't think this is going to be very good, and I think it's going to expose Gunn for what he is. And I think that I think we're going to see he and Safran maybe split up, because I think Safran's more useful in a different position. It's not as a co-studio head for DC.
All right, yeah. I mean, look, I don't know. The jury, yet for me, the jury's out on this thus far. I liked the first trailer when it released, to be fair. I just thought some bits of it were a little bit dumb, like his eyes looked a bit dumb, and they're like, "Oh no, it looks fine." It's not CGI, guys. We just filmed it on like a widescreen. So okay, well, his face still looks, like he, I don't know, was birthed a bit weird. Like he's still, that's not something that you should do in a film. Like you should try and correct that, I guess. But I mean, all in all, like it looked fine. Like it just looks like Superman to me. So I don't have anything majorly against it. I'm all for movies being good. Like if this is a good movie, great. Yeah, I don't know. There's no signs yet for me to be like, yeah, this looks like crap, or yeah, this looks like good. Like, you know, it looks great. I'm just like, yeah, we'll see. What's your thoughts on this, Bo?
Well, I mean, okay, I know this doesn't make me popular with the chat.
Wait for
Because
everyone.
I've done it before, and the chat largely didn't agree. But still, I'm here to give my a personal view. I don't particularly like Superman. There's two big things that loads of people in this sphere love are Doctor Who and Superman. I dislike both. Have never liked them since when I was a child. I mean, don't hate them. I don't hate Doctor Who. I don't hate Superman. But I've just never been. It just never, as I said earlier, never fired my imagination. I never really wanted a Superman figure. Right. When I grew up in the 80s, so like you get the 70s and 80s Superman movies. If they were on TV, okay, I'll sit there and watch it. Okay. But I was never like, oh, yeah, there's a new Superman film coming out or something. Never ever thought that. Like some people love Superman, like Jerry Seinfeld, of all people, is obsessed with Superman, like sort of obsessed with it. It's like a big part of his childhood and all that sort of stuff. So I get it. People love Superman, but I just don't, never have. Not excited about anything Superman related. Same with Doctor Who. Ever since I was a little kid, just like, this is lame. This doesn't speak to me. I'm not interested in it. And it's difficult to put my finger on exactly why. But there you go. So yeah, I'm not like that interested. It's probably, I won't go to see it at the cinema, even if it gets great reviews. So
no, fair enough.
Yeah, but if it's a good film, good for them. I've got nothing against them. Like I say, I don't despise Superman. I don't wish the franchise ill. So if they make a great film, good. But yeah, I'm not holding my breath one way or another, I'm afraid.
No, I think that's perfectly. I think it's a very reasonable take, to be honest. That's a very reasonable take. Well, there you go. Anyway, we got a super chat about this from Normal Man. Brilliant name. Super chats and says, why is Hollywood so allergic to using actual dogs or animals for that matter? I mean, you can't really do a real life Crypto the super dog, to be honest. It's going to be very difficult to get a dog to fly around. Not going to lie, mate. You know, it's not something that they do typically. I'd say that's probably why. And animals are notoriously really difficult to film, so I think that's probably another reason why. The amount of time you waste.
What are those Clint
filming.
Eastwood films with the orangutan?
Oh, I don't know. What?
Sorry, I think there's a delay.
There is a delay.
There's a film or two with Clint Eastwood and the orangutan. People will know. They're quite famous films. But yeah, it's funny to look back at older films before CGI and see to what great lengths they would go to when you look at a film like, I don't know, like A Bridge Too Far, where they almost do a full-scale invasion of Holland to recreate that. Or Cleopatra, where there's like thousands of extras and stuff like that. Ben-Hur or something. The extreme lengths they would go to. Oh, Any Which Way But Loose. Yeah. Any Which Way But Loose. That's with the orangutan. If there was an animal in it, you'd have to use the real animal. They just don't bother now, do they? They just don't. Yeah, just don't bother.
Well, that's the advent of CGI.
It's just easy to do it on set or something.
Yeah. God damn. Well, anyway, there you go. We'll move on from this now.